Hot mics picked up their discussion. They were talking about organ transplants and the possibility that humans could live to 150 years old.
They were trying to create superhumans. It was a race from China and other countries, which the Lord said, do not mention the other country. They were taking DNA from an animal using AI. How does a tortoise, a turtle, live so long? So they were taking that DNA and they were trying to take it with AI and splice it with human DNA, trying to create organs that would have longevity of hearts. And I'll stem it off of what the Word of God says. That as in the days of Noah, so will it be when the Son of Man returns. And it talks about it in, there was giants on the land. The angels slept with the women and created giants, right? So we have the Nephilim. I hope I don't butcher that again. The Nephilim. So what I saw happening in labs in certain cities, I saw they look like it was the creepiest thing I've ever seen. They were trying to create superhumans. They were taking DNA from an animal using AI. How does a tortoise, a turtle, live so long? And they were, because some of them 200-300 years old, right, you know? So they were taking that DNA and they were trying to take it with AI and splice it with human DNA, trying to create organs that would have longevity of hearts, longevity with DNA splice, like trying to outsmart God. And the Lord told me, He said, I fearfully and wonderfully made you in my image. And they're trying to do exactly what they did in the old days with Noah. Satan was trying to destroy the bloodline of a pure human by creating monsters. And the Lord showed me, He said, as in the days of Noah, Brandon, look what they're going to do again. They're trying to recreate the human the way we are, right? By being blasphemous. It's like the Lord said, we are made in His image. We're perfect. We're perfect in His sight. And when man tries to add to or take away from any of the DNA of making a human, it takes away from who we are with God. Saying, well, you know, we're crossbreeds. We're not full humans, by taking things and adding to and taking away from anything. So I hope this is making sense. I try to talk, this is just the level of my thinking, y'all. And when I'm looking into the vision, this is what the Lord shows me. He says to me, He says, Brandon, they're playing around with fire. They're playing around with things that they don't know. If these people are evil, they have a reprobate mind. And I saw them adding to the DNA, trying to make people super strong by adding gorilla things, like from big gorillas. They were very strong animals, trying to make men super strong, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's, like super soldiers, and making them very strong. And people say, and Braden told me, because I don't keep the comment section on my phone anymore. He said, Daddy, they say that they've already had this for 5 or 6 years now. Folks, I don't know anything about all that stuff. I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm telling you what I got strictly from the voice of the Father warning about this. And they say, well, Alex Jones talked about all these other people, Joe Rogan, all these other people. Listen, this is what the Spirit of the Lord said. I don't know about these men. I'm trying to tell you what I saw in labs. If that's what they're telling you, then they're right. This is what I saw. And it was a race from China and other countries, which the Lord said, do not mention the other country. There was a race trying to perfect it to who it was like the new industrial revolution with the crypto. Trying to create a new superhuman being, a species of human being of genetically altered bodies. Trying to get the falls out, in other words, right? And then I saw babies in labs, in embryonic fluid with bubbling with a light behind it. It looked like a hot light keeping this baby warm. It looked like something in a sci-fi movie that was being created, not a fully formed baby, but a baby that was actually being created, and what you could see, it wasn't fully developed yet. And I could see the nose and the head and all how it separates from the egg and the sperm, and all it's all created. And life without a mother. And I saw they were doing it. It was successful. It was alive in this. It was a cylinder tube, and it was in the middle of the cylinder tube, suspended in this with this embryonic fluid stuff and real life bubbles that were moving around this life, this human life that looked like a real human. It was created, and I could see the fluids, and it looked like the embryonic fluid looked a yellow tint color. It looked like almost like a shade of urine. I don't know, like that's what I'm saying. It looked like that. It looked but it looked thick like jelly. And I saw it all in this. It was moving, and the baby was suspended in this tube, and it was being grown in a lab. And I could actually see in it like an umbilical cord, some kind of cord attached to this fetus, to this baby. It was creepy. But when I was looking to my left in the vision, I saw like 6 foot tall human looking things that were not all human. They were spliced together that looked like a part animal, part human thing that had no soul in their eyes. Their eyes were completely black out. Like we have a white center around like our eyes with everything, with our iris and everything. They had nothing. It was a black. And the Lord told me, He said, they don't have a soul. These do not have a spirit or a soul. This is possessed by a demonic spirit. This is created, it's possessed by a demonic spirit, what you're seeing. It's animal, human. They're splicing it. And I saw they were trying to harvest organs, creating these things that were, because if you could get a super heart that was made perfect in the future. I don't know when this is. I don't know when this happens. I don't know if it's happening right now, or if this is something that's coming in the future, or they're going to try to do this or whatever. But this is what they're going to try to do, is what I'm trying to tell y'all. I saw they wanted to harvest their organs, their livers, their kidneys, their whatever they had, because they had no soul. They look like monsters. This is what I'm seeing in the spirit. But the Lord said to me, they will create in the days ahead a cross of trying to bring back prehistoric animals. And He said it will become a place where you go to a zoo to see them. You'll be able to see a woolly mammoth and a saber-toothed tiger. And I saw them trying to find DNA like Jurassic Park, which is nuts, to create ancient dinosaurs, lizards. I saw, like I said, them creating super stuff and human beings and just very demonic activity with AI technology, with this new industrial revolution. And it was a race, like a space race, like the space age race. Everybody's wanting to get to the moon first. This was an AI race. Who's going to harness AI? Who's going to be the first to create the best out of human cloning and doing all these things? Who's going to make the first superhuman? Stuff that should be illegal is what I was seeing. It was very dark, but it was people trying to be the best at splicing and making a better human. The Lord showed me it was like the Tower of Babel. That as AI came and was really being developed, that there was nothing that humans couldn't achieve with technology. The veil that has blocked things in the past is being lifted through technological advancements. And the darkness is becoming more real than we've ever seen it before. You will see darkness like we've never seen, gross darkness. And I'm telling you, when you start hearing about these animals going into zoos and in the near future, and they say, hey, we got a woolly mammoth, there's darker things at foot. I'm warning you by the Spirit of God that there's darker things, and they may never reveal this darkness about these hearts and this stuff to the public. I don't know. I just saw that it was trying to find out the fountain of youth. How do we live longer? How did Noah live so long? I was hearing them say, in the Bible times, how did these men and women live so long? 1,000 years, like Methuselah or whatever, They were trying to figure out how to recreate what they had in Bible times of making people live so long. Because they know that our bodies are made to live and not die. God never designed us to death. That was after the fall of man. Adam would have lived forever. But the problem is after he fell, everything got messed up. And they're trying to figure out how to keep the body going for a long time for these elites. They want to live like the fountain of youth. They're trying to become immortal. And that's what the Lord was showing me is they were trying to do it through AI technology. How do we spice it? How do we inject this like the fountain of youth? If we drink this, will it make us better? Will it make us stronger? Will it make us live longer? And they were trying to do that through AI. The Lord told me, he said, Brandon, there's a time to sow and there's a time to reap. There's a time to live and there's a time to die. There's no man that's ever going to live forever on this earth right now. And as they try to create this, what they're doing, they're trying to bypass seed time and harvest. They're trying to bypass it. There's a time to live and there's a time to die. I saw them taking genetics from a starfish and worms, trying to figure out how to splice that and make things that grow arms, grow back body parts, because if a starfish can do that, how can you splice that with a human DNA and make them do that? It was very weird stuff that I was seeing. And then I was seeing them trying to create a superfood that was cheap out of like a soybean that was full of protein, but the Lord told me this has no nutrition in it at all. It's genetically modified crap that they're going to try to give people. It was like a little nut looking thing. And I don't know what it was, but it looked like a nut. It truly did. A genetically modified looking nut, they called it like a superfood, trying to keep you alive by eating this, but there's no nutritional value in it. It's man-made. Anything man-made is not going to be good for you. I mean, seriously. If it's not vegetables or whatever, I mean, seriously, this is like something that's it's a lab. They're trying to create it. And it was gross. But they were adding things to it and trying to do things to it. And they do that already right now with our food. But this looked like a little nut, and it was like a size of a pecan. When you see stuff like that and you see the corruption of man's mind and what they're trying to do, it just kind of, it goes, wow. You go, wow. How much darker can people really get? There's a level that you think you won't cross with people. Are you all really going to go there? Trying to create things like that and there's no moral balance. There's no moral compass. There's everything goes, We have the ability to create. We have the ability to do this so we can play God. We can make the human body better. We think better than him. That's the arrogance that I was seeing. God's design wasn't perfect, but we can make it perfect. But it changed the structure of what human really was. Blasphemous about because he is perfect. He's God. We're made in his image. But they thought we can take this with a dog or whatever, and we'll make life better because what he did wasn't good enough, right? And that's why I thought, wow, this is what they did with the Nephilim. And folks, the Bible is so clear. As in the days of Noah, so will it be when the Son of Man returns. And it was just like that in Noah's time. He was looking at the giants walking on the earth, and he's looking around, and it's like Sodom and Gomorrah, like on another level. And everybody's like, what is happening up in here? God had to wipe out a whole generation, all those people, because of how corrupt the bloodline was. And I don't know if Noah and his sons were the only ones that weren't corrupt, but I'm going to tell you, very serious times. Very serious time. Only 8 got on the ark. I don't know how many people had a pure bloodline back then. I don't think it says. So we see the Bible coming alive again, of what I believe what's coming in the future, what the Lord revealed to me. More darkness, more things that we need to be praying over. And I know that there's a lot of this we can't stop, because the Bible says as in the days of Noah, so it's going to happen. So when will we see this in public eye? I don't know. When you start seeing about woolly mammoths, and you start seeing about saber-toothed tigers and dinosaurs trying to shoot big lizards again. Well, we found the lizard DNA and we crossed it with a Komodo dragon. And I mean, seriously, that's what I'm telling you. They have to take something to make something. And they take it and they splice it together. And that, well, we had this hair and we did this, because you can't create life out of nothing. You have to have something to create something, right? It's something that's alive, well, we can create the dodo bird again, or whatever. We have to create something out of this to do this, but it has to be spiced, so it's not pure form. It's not pure form. Taking a human and making it into this is not, it's trying to be a mockery of God's creation, of what he originally intended. Just like it was with the Nephilim. And I think it's interesting. I really do. Whenever I see what I saw. He was ticked off about it. Needless to say, what I was seeing, he was ticked off about it. He was not happy about what he was seeing going on in these labs. And he said, now do you see why I have to accelerate? Time is being accelerated. Things, because man's knowledge is increasing to the point of great corruption. Great corruption. What they're trying to achieve and what they're doing, we're at that point of no return. For technological advancements are trying to distort even the human body. And I was like, I get it. I can see it. I can see it. So he said, he keeps talking to me. He said, Brandon, people do not realize how truly bad tribulation is going to be. It's going to be hell on earth, folks. And I'm telling you, as you watch this video, you may say, Brandon, all that seems so sci-fi, so out there. You are on some bad stuff. What are you talking about? All I'm here to tell you is I'm seeing what's coming in the future. I'm trying to tell you what they're planning by what I feel like the Holy Spirit has given me to tell you, and through prayer. And I'm trying to warn you as loud as I can that we're running out of time. Jesus Christ is coming. And many people are asleep. And a great shaking to awaken's coming upon this earth. You're going to see things in the days ahead that you never dreamed you would ever see, with earthquakes and all kinds of things. We're in the beginning of sorrows. I want you to understand, this is not tribulation. This is the beginning of sorrows. The last of the major birthing pains before the birthing of the tribulation. Watch what's about to take place in the days ahead.